Good Sunday morning and welcome to Rochester in Focus. I'm Lynette Adams. Emily Putnam will be here in just a little bit. Coming up on the show today, are there some basic skills you wish you had learned or that you wish your children were learning in school that would propel them to success regardless of the career they choose? Well, that's the premise of Daniel Sneed's Best Bet Skills Academy. We'll explain in just a moment. Also coming up on Rochester in Focus, Emily will introduce you to a program stretching from Rochester to Northern Ireland, helping to break down religious barriers in that country. But first, Best Bet Skills Academy is the brainchild of a Rochester native who thought he had not learned the right skills in high school when he decided college was not for him, and he left after his first year. What he really wanted: to build a business. So he did. Well, it didn't quite work out, but he learned something that he now calls Best Bet Skills, and he's teaching it through his online academy. His online academy is something that you can learn more about. And that's what I spoke with him and one of his students about in this interview. So let's talk about this novel idea, Daniel, that you came up with. Where did you get this idea?
3 or 4 years ago, I kind of just took a look at what I did to make a living. So I haven't worked a job since 2015. And so I've done a bunch of different things to just create income for my family. And so I just asked myself the question, like, what is it that you do on a day-to-day to make money? And when I looked at it, it came down to networking, leadership, content creation, teaching, public speaking. And so when I looked at it, I was like, okay, so where did I learn those things? Like, where in school did I get those things? And when I thought about it, I didn't get them in school. I got them kind of, OJT, on the job training, just, trial by fire in life. I just started asking some friends and people around me questions about these particular skills. Hey, when did you learn them? How did you learn them? Did you ever learn them on purpose? And as I asked those questions, I found that almost no one set out to learn those skills, right? And a lot of them are things we kind of do naturally, but to do them on a high level, to make careers out of them, you have to be intentional and you have to know how to use them. And once I started getting that feedback, I said, I can make a difference. There's a space here to teach these skills to kids, between the ages of 15 and 25, and put them in position where, you can leave high school and understand the sales process and go make, $60,000 at a car dealership, right? And that's boom right there, because that's the potential at a job like that.
So Roman, you heard about this. What was it about this program that intrigued you? What made you decide that, I think I'd like to try this?
So I actually ran into Daniel randomly on the street. I was getting some food and I saw him recording a video. So I went up and talked to him. And he started telling me all about his course. And I had been really interested in entrepreneurship already. And so when he started talking, I was just like, oh my God, like this is the stuff I want to be learning, but I'm not learning in school. And I go to the Harley School, and shout out to them. I absolutely love it. I got so many course offerings, but nothing in the course was the type of things that I would be learning in school. And as soon as I enrolled with Daniel and started learning, it was just like shock after shock. Like, oh my God, how have I not learned this already?
Okay, so let's talk about the magic, the secret sauce. What is it, Daniel, exactly that students are learning in your course that they're not getting in school?
One thing I'll jump into in particular is being intentional to build a network, right? So again, every skill that I mentioned, networking, content creation, sales, public speaking, teaching, leadership, everyone does these things to a degree unconsciously, right? They're just a part of life. But now when I teach a young person, right? So let's say Roman, for example, I say, Roman, like when you network on purpose, what you're doing is you're building a community of people that you have their back and they have your back. And the key to building a network is not just, okay, I'm going to go collect business cards at a networking event. You know, that's what a lot of kids end up doing when they're scrambling in their senior year of college to get a job. True networking is adding value to people. True networking is, hey, making a connection and having a relationship. And, you know, if there's no synergy today, it's just keeping a conversation open in case there's synergy tomorrow. And so, you know, teaching them that, hey, you have so many friends right now in high school. What do their parents do for a living, right? If they're your friends, then you have access to their parents. And so find out what their parents do. And okay, their parents do something you're interested in. Now you've got a foothold, you know, to get into that. And again, to start that at 17 versus 27 is a huge game changer.
Did you have parts, Roman, that you liked a lot?
I definitely did. So to kind of go along with the networking, even beyond teachers, just the everyday interactions that we can use to network that I learned from Daniel, because we run into so many people every day, but we kind of just think of it as meaningless when really every single one of those interactions is an opportunity. So since learning that, I definitely have become intentional to, when I see someone, you know, wearing a specific t-shirt, to ask them about it, start a conversation, try and get their phone number, add them to my network. Actually, just this past weekend, I was flying home and I was in the airport and I saw this guy with a big suitcase just of camera equipment. He had like a huge camera and he was taking a picture of this like statue in the airport. And I've been getting kind of interested in photography, so I just went up to him, started a conversation, got his Instagram, and already he's giving me more than a few photography tips. So it's that type of thing that has definitely made a really big impact.
Has this changed the way you think, would you say?
It has almost changed the way that I like go through every day. I try and go through every day with more of a purpose now, instead of, you know, just instead of it being more meaningless, there's really opportunities in everything to learn and grow. And it's kind of opened my eyes in that aspect. So I definitely would say it has changed my thinking.
We're going to dive deeper into what Sneed has learned and what young people can learn from his successes and his failures along the way. Rochester in Focus. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Rochester in Focus. This morning we're learning about a non-traditional education that Daniel Sneed says changed his life. He says it's all the stuff students don't learn in school but need to guarantee success in any field. Let's finish the conversation with him and one of his students, Roman Novi Marks. So Daniel, how did you learn all this stuff? You're not that old that you would have so much wisdom as people would expect, right? But of course we know you don't have to have age to have wisdom, but where did you learn all these things that you teach? There are 6 areas that you teach in. How did you learn?
First, thank you for the compliment by saying I don't look that old. Appreciate that. So I learned it through my journey, right? So I started my first business at 19 and that business failed. It didn't grow into what I saw it growing into. I got my first sales job at around 25 or 26, selling gym memberships. And that was I'm speaking specifically to developing these skills intentionally. That was where I had an aha moment. I did 1 year of college. I left school, became an entrepreneur. And so when I got into sales, which I did on accident, mind you, I hated sales. I said I would never be a salesperson because I had the typical ideology or the typical thinking of what salespeople are, right? Salespeople they're trying to make you buy something you don't want. They're only thinking about, you know, the commission they're going to get. They're only thinking about money. And when I got into sales, fortunately, I had a really good coach at the Rochester Athletic Club. And he just taught me how to be a good salesperson. And at that moment, me just, you know, being competitive, being an athlete, I loved several things about it. Number one, I loved that I could get better. I love that, hey, you know, I could miss every sale, you know, this week, but I can tweak things, I could fine tune it, and next week I could do better. You know, I could make 1 or 2 sales. I also loved that I could make more money without having to give more time. So if I wanted a raise to go on vacation, I didn't have to come in and work overtime. I could be more effective in the 8 hours that I was already going to be there. And so that right there was a game changer. So I jumped in and I began to learn about sales intentionally. I began to read sales books. I began to practice. My wife was my guinea pig. Shout out to her. Justine has been amazing to me throughout these years. And I would practice my sales pitches on her because, again, I realized that you had to be fluent, right?
So it's not something you read in a book, it's something you yourself have tested and tried.
I got into network marketing, right? And so in that business and in that industry, really I'm using all of these skills in concert together, right? I'm teaching people, how to, run their home-based business, how to sell something. I am leading people, right? And in that industry, you lead people vote with their feet, meaning that I don't write a paycheck for them. And so for them to continue to show up, I've got to have something as a leader that speaks to them that says, hey, we're going to come and listen to this guy because we believe he can help us get to the next level. And I've helped, several people to create, residual income that is significant for their families, through leadership and through teaching. Networking, I took what I, was doing in network marketing and I leveraged it to go out and actually create a business where I was involved in exporting cars. And that was really awesome. I used my network and my ability to connect with people in order to grow a business, doing that for 2 years. Public speaking. I was doing trainings, every week. At some points I was on stage in front of, just literally arenas full of people, training in a mentorship capacity. And so I'm doing all of these skills and I began to see that I could use them a la carte. So I wrote curriculum in Hillside Work Scholarship. At the time, Rod Green was the executive director there. He brought me in several times to teach courses that I had written. So I'm in front of classes, I'm teaching, and I'm doing public speaking. So this course is literally the embodiment of how I do every day. Literally, I remember I met you. I forget where we met exactly, but when I met you, I collected your name and your phone number and we stayed in touch. And we're doing this interview because I sent you a text because I was going through my phone, making connections and going through my network. Roman's here because this is how I do life. We met because he was talking about the gimbal that I had that I was using to record my video. And I connected and I just collect relationships and I do my best to add value. And so that's kind of been my lifestyle. And that's where I got all of this from, is just I live this stuff every day.
So how can people take the course? How can people get involved if they want to take this course and learn what you're sharing?
So the course is 100% virtual, right? So there's no classrooms. There's nothing where you have to come in and do anything. 100% virtual. I have my website right on my shirt, www.bbsa.info. There is an application process. There is an interview because the interview is not to keep students out, but it's to make sure we get the right students in at the right time. Because I do believe that there's got to be the right time to get this type of information, right? So the youngest person thus far to take the course has been 12 years old. And it was a young lady who did phenomenal in terms of what she retained, in terms of her, just ability to understand everything that was being taught. And so far, the oldest to take the course has been 23. And so they can go to the website, they can fill out that form. I encourage parents to do it together. There are a couple of students that I feel like this is the best fit for. Number one is, people that are have an entrepreneur mindset and want to at some point own their own business, whether it's something they want to do sooner or later. These are the skills that are going to be the basis for building a business. The second one are achievers. People that, they do well, but they want to do better. They want to add different skills to their toolbox. They want to be intentional. This is something that, boom, I think Roman definitely falls into that category as well. Not just an entrepreneur, but an achiever. He's just hungry to do good at whatever he does. The next one is athletes that are looking to monetize their name and likeness. That's a huge thing right now with sports. But it's meaningless to be able to monetize your name and likeness if you can't monetize your name and likeness. You don't have the skills to do it. And then the last two people that this is for, I would say, are gap year students. I have a young lady actually right now. She just got a brand new job in sales through networking, thanks to some of the things that she learned in this course. And this morning I went actually to where she's working at. It's a gym, and I went and got I did a little demo of the type of workout they're doing. And she is someone who did a few years of college and kind of is trying to figure things out. But now, as a result of what she's learning in the course, she feels like she's starting to really get some direction, right? And like Roman said, doing things a little bit more intentional. And then my very last person I think is the perfect fit for this course is who I was in high school. And that is kids that are highly intelligent, but have very low desire to do schoolwork. And that's literally who I was. If you showed me something that to me had value to it, and I could see the parallels between me learning this and using it in life, then it made sense to me. I would go for it.
So if you're interested in learning these 6 skills that Sneed talked about, you can go to www.bbsa.info. It's the Best Bet Skills Academy. There are 60 lessons, all of it online. You work at your own pace, and the cost varies.